first place. So this is my kick. We'll talk about this a little bit. Oh, you guys can't see the Voxango. Shoot. You know what? You can't see the pop-up. So I would use like a visual, like I guess there's one in Ableton or Pro Q, and you can see where that kick is hitting. I'm trying to think of if it shows on here. There you go, right? Cool. So this is, I don't know why I've got all this nonsense. My default EQ is like messed up, right? So you can see kind of where the kick is hitting, right? It's hitting right here. If you open it up, double click on it. Oh, there you go. I don't know why I didn't just use this all the whole time. You can see it's hitting around like 41, 42, and then you're like, okay, cool. I already get my bass out of the way of that. It's pretty low. I'm using Kickstart in this case, yes. I like LFO tool. You can use your own, go sidechain. There's a lot of ways to do it. Kickstart's just fast. And yeah, LFO tool didn't make it over. How the bass tone resonates is key. I completely agree with that. Because you have harmonics, right? So this, let's just look at this one channel, right? Okay, I'm giving mixing advice, which is kind of hilarious. But anyways, right, let's look at this. Let's take a loop that, because my basses, I like to play a lot of octaves, which is very sort of disco. It maybe provides more issues mixing, and people have asked me in the past, like, how do you make sure your low end stays the same through the different notes? It's just, I mean, I don't know. I would rather be able to play these higher octaves in my bass than just like a simple tech house, like 2-note bass, which is cool if that's what you're trying to do. So it's hitting the fundamental here, right? It's like 36, and then it's also hitting 72, the D1. But even on that first note, you see all these other harmonics going on over here. And so that's what you're talking about. And depending on, you know, if you make your bass an operator or you have saturation going, you definitely want those harmonics, but sometimes they can get in the way of the other instruments in your mix or your vocal, and you want to tame those. I will show you really quick a fun way of dealing with that. What's up, Mohammed? All right. So this is a very simple device that you can make in Ableton. And you can use it. There's lots of different ways to do this. This is I just put 3 instances multi-band dynamics, right? So this frequency is the low. So if I solo it, I'll only hear up to 120. If you don't have headphones, you're not going to be able to hear much of this. But that's where I can like tackle what's going on in the bass. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, there we go. Get this stupid thing out of here. Right, so it's playing one. It's soloing because I've got that soloed, and then I've got a mono on it to make sure you don't need anything down there to be doing stereo stuff. You can't hear it. And then obviously you want it mono also because a lot of sound systems are going to be in mono. A lot of clubs are going to be in mono. I never know because I'm always in the booth, so I always got like two sides. I don't get to hear my tracks out on the floor. And then you have something for your mids. So this in this case, MR2 bass sounds octave. What's up, Plasma? Yeah, we're talking about like different ideas for mixing bass right now. I'll show you the bass again, but right now this is two bass sounds, both from the pack. This is a one shot. I think I've got the mids soloed. So this is the higher bass. This is the just top layer, which I've crushed the heck out of, as you can see. It is that's a vocal sample. I'll show you the source on that, since some people probably just showing up. This is all from my Splice pack. You could really use. So let's see if this works for a different. Right, it's this one right now, but let's use that, or let's try that. I know I got to tune it though. If it's A flat, so it's I mean, it's crazy. It's a lot, right? But I mean, I could tone that down. So you can do anything, take anything tonal and turn it into like a nice layer. But back to what I was talking about with this simple sort of multi-blend splitter. Thanks, Jay. Definitely check in mono. So where were we? Right. In this rack, which is just default Ableton stuff, as you can see, I've got the mono here on the low, and then I can check just that, see how that's coming through. And I can even check just the mid of the bass as how it sits in the mix, which there's not much else going on, but that's not bad considering it's just the mid, right? I mean, we can hear it, which means it'll translate on my phone or on like an old computer or whatever. And then you check the highs, and so on the highs I've got just a house effect thing, which you can do with a delay to get a little bit of sort of fake stereo, a little bit of stereo separation. And then I've limited, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't too concerned with this. You can't really hear much of it anyways. You can, there. But I'd probably figure out, because that chime is really like prominent in the mix. But that's a handy way to approach bass. Think of your bass in frequency bands. It's my tick of the day. Does it get annoying listening to the same loop over and over? Absolutely. You make hip hop tracks and beats. Any mix on 808s and kicks? Yeah, welcome. No worries. I would say that the 808 game is kind of the whole skeleton. It's like the fundamental of all of that music, obviously the kick. So the kind of 808 you start with is going to be super key. And my buddy Lo-File has some great stuff on that on when he streams. He's an amazing producer, but he was talking about certain ways of treating 808s, because sometimes you want like a faster decay and sometimes you don't, and how you saturate it, and obviously your sample source is going to be big with that. I think with a lot of that stuff, the kick is, I don't know. The kick is kind of the kick doesn't have a lot of the low end, right? It's like the thwap. It's more clicky, and then you have the sub with 808. Let's run through a little bit more MIDI. Yeah, I can't say it. The only thing, let me run it. I've only released like one thing with like a trap at trap speeds. I did a remix of Gallant, but I don't think I use 808s on it. I'm literally just opening SoundCloud right now to go find it. What's up, Kodna? I don't know if you guys can even hear that. Balanced on the borderlines, open minds, burn as flimsy as our alibis. But do we really think it through? 'Cause baby, we're sitting like the ducks. I know you wanna bet. I don't think I did much. This is that like Reese bass. Oh yeah, so I'm not even using 808s. Anyways. No, sorry, no 808s on that. Yeah, his name, Lo-File, is there. I just put it in there. Go check out his stream. He's incredible. He's got a Grammy. He produced Her. He's done like Freddie Gibbs. He's just there's a lot of amazing dudes in Splice. All right, let's get back to it. I got off track a little bit. I'm gonna close my Chrome browser today. All right, so I mean, I guess there's like that's kind of most of it, but let me run through some of these chords real quick and show you what else is like going on. Keep shooting those questions in, though. would just like roll them, you know, like you get a little bit more vibe with that, right? You get it. Sorry about the metronome. I just love that thing. Oh, what is this? Sample it, yeah. So like, I don't know if you mean like this is just MIDI, right? So you can use them for your saw chords or whatever. I mean, this is just some Ableton stuff to show you. That was a bass thing. I showed you this one already. Yeah, so this is all in the pack. Let me see what else I was doing over here. All right, so I took one of the audio loops. And then I did that re-chop, which I was kind of mentioning. And then I started like seeing. Sorry, that's terrible. I don't have any trap hats in my pack, and I'm not going to use someone else's right now. But let's mess around and let's do something like really quick. So, and let's take a hat. Maybe I will use a hat, like a trap hat or something. But thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been a really fast hour. But make sure you go follow me over at Padlock Music. Friday on Phone a Friend, we're going to go through your demos, and every Friday we do artist chats. Last week was Louis Futon. This Friday we have the awesome RAC, Andre out of Portland, joining us. That's 2 p.m. Pacific. Right, so these are hats from, this is hats from Volume 1. Splice Volume 1. Or Heartbeats Volume 1. I'll just mess around with this real quick and then we'll probably call it. But keep throwing your questions in the chat. Join the Discord. If you're so inclined, drop your demo in there and say what's up. So, okay. And I want to record this out. Where is it at? Oh, yeah. Easy Trap Maker. I want to arm them both. Let me see what's going on here. I don't know why I have like one ear off the whole time. It makes no sense. I'm not monitoring anything. It's just the world. Here comes a metronome. That's how you get a bunch of hats down real quick. If you want to make some trap hats and you don't make trap, you just record, you just put the ARP on it, and then now I got all this stuff and I could just, pick and choose, like what what I want, like however you want to do it, rather than drawing everything in. Just record it, record to audio. There might be some latency. There's probably some latency on that. Let me see what we got here. Tips on arrangement. Monitoring the world. I don't want to monitor the world. That's why I make music. Tips on arrangement. Yeah, sure. Let's what would be a good? I mean, I like to think about what is the intended goal. Like, is it like a club? Let me bring back maybe one of my other songs. I don't have. This is the new computer, so I don't really have the sessions. But so what I would do is I would say study a lot of arrangement. Let's just do this because we got the time until they kick me out of here. Until they cut the power. I'm just gonna drag something in. I think arrangement is. It's funny that I appreciate that question because it is one of the most overlooked aspects, probably, I think, in music. Not overlooked, but you don't see people on Reddit asking about arrangement as you see them asking about how to make that sick wub or something, and it's probably more important, or at least it's important. I don't know what speed this is. This is that song, my song No One, No One, which I played earlier. Turn off my master chain. Actually, I don't need to turn off my master chain. Well, so I'll show you like how to use a reference track. I need to turn this off because I don't know what I'm doing today. Master, off. Oh, thanks, Morrissey. Yeah, my Luna George bootleg. That was an old one, but appreciate you for coming back around. Okay, so this is the song No One, No One that I wrote. So let's say that you wanted to write sort of like a poppy house track or a vocal house track. You don't want it. You don't want it to be like 8 or 10 minutes or something, right? But you're just like, okay, well, I have a couple of ideas. How are we going to do this? So let's say I didn't know what this was. I would go. Okay. I'm gonna go first one. And actually, because there's always some weird intros that starts there, and let's work in multiples of 8. So let's just do that, right? Doesn't really matter. Now is me. Baby, there ain't no one, no one. That sounds like a chorus to me. Or pre. Thanks, Carl. So hold on. Everything meant to happen will be if you could only see. Right, so if that's the chorus, sort of think as much like a songwriter as possible. If you aren't one, even if you want to, like, if you want to do some vocal stuff, if you're doing like a pop. So I do kind of pop arrangements in that I like my second verses. I like to have pre-choruses. I like to use a bridge. A lot of EDM house tracks will just kind of have one hook, and those can be, well, that just means you got to find a good reference track for that. Reference tracks really make the world go around, not just for when you're up and coming, but I mean, still, like a lot of people I know, if I'm, for example, I often master my own remixes, and I always mix them. So sometimes I'm not sure if something's sitting right or if the arrangement's too long or whatever. So it's like here, okay. So drop one. Okay, that's clearly verse 2, so I would just do that, right? And then we know it's probably another 8 bars. Sounds like pre-2 to me. Okay. And then when you're writing your track, you can have those, or you can shorten it. Sometimes the pre will be half as long the second time. Often the verse will be half as long the second time in a lot of pop stuff. So, know where the structure is so that you can break it.
Baby, there ain't no one, no one.
Second drop.
Meant to happen will be if you could only see.
Improving chord progressions. Yeah, like I would say learn your favorite ones. So write a list of like your favorite chords in songs and be like, and learn, Google them. I mean, YouTube is awesome for that now. Honestly, there's people doing covers of stuff, if not showing you how to play those songs, and learn how to play them. Even if you don't like play keys, figure out, on the piano roll, punch them in when you, train your ear, and that way you'll learn just through doing, and it doesn't get any simpler than that, because then your ear will learn even if you don't know like the name of a chord. Sometimes people are like, that's like an augmented with a flat, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I know like a little bit, but like I don't think of it that much. It sounds like a bridge, right? Yeah, you learn your favorites, and then you learn how to flip them, right? You change a couple chords, you change a couple notes, and then you figure out what works for you. I'm not saying like write a bunch of songs, with the same chords as your favorite songs, obviously, but you learn the language, and then you can speak it.
Now and now is me. I never been this far. Baby, there ain't no one, no one. You got it, you're good.
So this is like, talking about how I would, do a reference arrangement on this, but I would write, for example, on this, not just the verse one, I would be like,
I'm older. Time is rushing over me, sweet harmony. I am now and now is me.
So for example, in this case, I'd be like, sub, like the sub comes in here, right?
I am now and now is me.
So like what kind of elements you play with bass or whatever, like there's drums, but is there a clap happening yet?
More than one can, there ain't no one, no one.
And knowing like what is coming in and out, so you know what the sections are, and then you know what's being added and subtracted, and don't be afraid to write that stuff down and steal arrangements. Just steal them. Honestly, don't worry about it. Tonal center. Yeah, I would say that tonal center, from my understanding, is just like where the one is, right? So let's take. I'm gonna wrap up this pretty soon, but I know that this is here, right?
Older.
But maybe you can like figure it out usually from the first chord.
My.
This might be a bad example because it's kind of weird in that.
Oh my.
And also the verse can fool you. Let's start with the drop, because the drop never lies. So, thanks. Yeah, I don't usually use analog like bass. I often, play it in MIDI, but that's a little hardware, my SH baby, and I like that. It's actually one patch, I think. I don't think I used the sub even. That's just with the thing in the middle. Also, I realized that either the song is out of tune, which is possible, but I think this specific Ableton instrument might be slightly out of tune. Right, let me bring this down. So you're trying to find like the tonal center, which is like the root or the key that it's in, right? Which is important for any track, reference track. Right. Oh, that's funny. I'm just oh no, that's why. It's not out. It's because the song is I had it on repitch mode like a dummy.
only see.
There we go. Right, so this is not the best example because I'm sort of avoiding the tonic a lot in this. This is going to be tough. I think I just rearranged a lot of the passing chords in a weird way on this. But I'm trying to resolve to the one. This is, yeah, I don't know how to explain the root of this song. I just kind of played it. It goes between major and minor. Whoops. It's F, F major. And then it only in the hook it has like an extra passing. That's something I like about the song is I the verse and the hook are the same chords, which is fine, which I don't love. So I added one extra passing chord in the hook. So the verse is
My oh my, so gone is yesterday. I'm older.
Caro knows what's going on. She can explain. I don't know what's going on.
Washing over me,
Okay, so I can explain that. That just kind of resolves.
washing over me. Time is washing over me. Time is washing.
Sorry, it's been a while since I. That's how. So it's basically in like a C minor, like or G. No, because it's not. It's G. It's G minor. I don't think that's right. Then, but it resolves. So this is kind of the key to this song. If you want to talk about chords, is that's the verse. So kind of like C minor. But in the hook, I added one more in there because I'm always like more chords, which usually people don't like, but I like it. That part is different. So, and that gives it just enough that you're like, oh, this is different. So like extra. So let's use, be like, it's what's going on here. Like, what is he playing?
Is yesterday. Washing over me.
Right, and you can use the same thing. It's just something that sort of happened that day.
Washing over me.
Right. Second time around, instead of 3, there's 4. I'm still resolving on that C. But just finding passing chords are a lot of where the soul is in this stuff. Whether you make hip hop or trap or house, it all is kind of rooted in jazz. And I can't speak much to jazz because I never took any. But as I've learned more about this stuff, that is kind of become the theme. Thundercat is incredible with that stuff. His voicings. Kiefer's like the beast, right? So yeah, and I don't even know what he's doing a lot of the time. It's beyond my pay grade, but I'm trying to learn. You don't have to use all that stuff. Sometimes it won't fit. If you're making like EDM, but people aren't necessarily gonna like that. But yeah, try and train your ear. Carl, thanks for the explanation for the people. But yeah, that's the pack. This was like a lot of fun. I think we'll probably call it there. Check out the pack. I'm streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Padlock Music or whatever it is. Yeah, it's Padlock Music. Check out Gone As Yesterday, the EP. This one is No One. Join the Discord. It's been fun. yeah, it's been a lot of fun, guys. So I think I might raid someone. Actually, I can't raid because this is not my stream. But yeah, we'll see you guys soon.